Non-profit organization Tears Foundation provides support to survivors of abuse. To talk to us now from Tears Foundation is Nosihle Mkhize, who is an intervention specialist. Nosihle, thank you so much for making the time to speak to us. Tell us more about Tears Foundation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nosihle from Tears Foundation. Tears was found by Mara Glennie in 2012. After she was a survivor of abuse and she needed help, no one could assist her. Mara vowed to herself that no other woman or a survivor would ever go through the same thing. She then found Tears. So what we do at Tears Foundation, we help and support survivors of abuse. We link them to resources. How do we do that? So we are a middleman. We have our survivor that just experienced gender-based violence as they've been raped or beaten. So what we do, we come in, if they contact us, immediately we come in and see what they need, their special needs. So the first thing, if they got beaten up or raped, we need to take them to a medical facility to get medically examined. After that, what do? We get them trauma counseling and help them to open a case. So at Tears Foundation, we attend to all the needs of the victims. We follow up the cases with the SABC. We help them get medical exam done. We help them get shelters if they need a place to stay in, a safe place. So we will link them to shelters and make sure they are moved safely to a shelter. We also make sure towards the end of the process, we need to get them counseling, because after they've went through a traumatic experience, they need to get counseling. So what do we do then? We walk the journey with them. Even after they've got counseling, they've got medical exam and everything has been done, we do not close the case. We keep them so that in a month or 3 weeks down the line, we follow up with them, find out what they need. Because in all the facilities we have in South Africa and all the organizations that are helping, no one is targeting into following up with the victims. Making an example with our statistics recently, cases of gender-based violence, especially rape, are not resolved because of the backlog at the laboratories. So what do we do at TS? We support the survivors, because after the case has been not taken to court because of lack of evidence, no one ever goes to the victim and say, how are you doing? So we feel like our laws are more accommodating perpetrators than victims. So our duty is to help and support the victim, walk the journey with them and make sure they get all the support they need.
Do you feel that Tears is achieving its objectives as we watch the numbers of gender-based violence grow every day in South Africa?
Yes, we do. I feel that we are doing very well. Although we're not even helping half of the people who are experiencing gender-based violence, bearing in mind that in all the cases that of what is happening in people are experiencing in real life, cases are not getting reported. So in those cases where people come to us and report, we make sure we give them assistance that they need 100%. Although we still have to educate the community of South Africa and help.
Right, we're struggling with the line to Nosihle Mkhize. Very important conversation, but we'll try get to her once again.
To report.
Nosihle, are you back with us? Nosihle?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry, we lost you there for a bit. So these laws that you say are not conducive to solving the problems. How are you engaging government in this regard?
We've been logging complaints, working together with the other organizations, but we haven't received the attention that we're seeking, because most of the laws, they're more accommodating perpetrators than victims. There are no laws put in place to make sure that victims are supported throughout the journey of trauma they're experiencing and recovering from their traumas. But it's more focused on the perpetrators. We have laws that protect the perpetrators. I know you cannot identify them as perpetrators until they are sentenced in court. So it also look into those aspects and the fact that there are programs put in place for them to recover and go back to the community, but there are no programs as such that are put in place for victims.
The country is really, at its wit's end, trying to find solutions to this problem. Just take us through the cases you have dealt with and how the women who you have engaged with in this regard have gotten to the point of being abused, and in other cases, as we've reported, in many cases, staying in those relationships.
In most of the cases, women find themselves in positions where, because as much as we are helping them, we help them make decisions. We do not make decisions on their behalf. You have to support the person until they decide. In most of the cases, they end up staying in these abusive relationships because they are tied, they are dependent to their perpetrators. Women in South Africa, most of them, they do not have jobs, they're not working. Others, they do not even have resources to develop themselves. So it keeps them in these relationships saying, I rather compromise my life than losing the financial support and also losing the support for my children. Because it's that fear. The perpetrators are more like grooming them into the point that they end up choosing to stay in the relationship, even though they see they're being abused and it putting their life at risk. So the challenge we are faced with, as much as we are supporting women and others successfully leave the relationships and find themselves again, but others, they will tell you, I'm being abused, I need counseling. And you can also see as an intervention specialist, yes, this person realized what is the issue and they need help. I'm going to support them up to this point. They're going to say, I cannot leave the relationship because this person is supporting me financially. We try and help them find the programs that can develop themselves. But in most cases, they will say, no, it's okay. I will report the case. I will do all this, but I'm still going to stay in the relationship. Unfortunately, in that part, you still have to support them and be there for them until they reach the part where they're going to say, no, I have to leave now.
Nosihle, we commend.
So we've been finding.
You can finish your point.
Okay, so other factors there to find them really impacting in this issue of gender-based violence when it comes to women. It's culture and the attitudes, the norms in the society, and the normalizing the things that are not supposed to be normalized. The fact that they encourage women to stay in relations, they encourage women to be dependent to men. They ask questions that are kind of projecting that the victim invited the abuse to themselves. If someone has been raped, they ask questions such as, like, what was she wearing? What did she do that she got raped? What did she do that her husband beat her? So it's kind of those norms that are still challenging us as much as we are trying to help women. But we also need to educate and engage with the community, because as much as we are helping women, we need to also involve men, because it starts from all of us. It starts in the families. It starts with the norms in the society, the attitudes that ends up the woman being victimized by men.
Nosihle, thank you so much once again for talking to us, and really commend the work that you're doing. Nosihle Mkhize is from the Tears Foundation.